going to do another little tab set gemstone video. So this time I'm going to make a little pendant. It's going to be on some copper rather than brass like the earrings, and I'm going to use a slightly larger cabochon, an oval stone this time. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the border, the background for my jewellery, bigger than the stone. So I want to cut it a fancy shape. So I could draw something by eye, but I have some shape templates. So what I did was hold various shapes over my stone until I found a shape that I liked. I'm going to go with this one, and I'm going to draw straight onto the plastic this time on the copper, because it's still got the plastic coating on there. Take the shape template, hold it over my copper, keeping close to my edges so that I'm not being wasteful, and I'm going to draw around it like so. Next up, I'm going to cut that shape out, and I'm just going to use my shears again. So you could use your jeweler's saw if you rather, you have a bit more control. I'm just going to go for speed and use my shears to chop it out. But with this tab setting, I'm going to be doing internal tabs, so tabs cut within the shape rather than cut from the outside of the shape. So I am going to have to use my jeweler's saw in a moment. One oval. Okay, and similar to last time, I'm going to take my shape, hold it on my piece and draw around the stone on here so I know where the stone is going to sit. Drawing around my stone, and now I need to draw my tabs in. So in the last video when we made the earrings, we drew the tabs sticking out towards the edge of the piece of metal. This time I'm going to draw the tabs pointing inwards on the metal. My hands are so shaky. But the important thing is, similar to last time, the tabs need to be placed either side of the fattest part of your stone that you're trying to set. Otherwise the stone will just fall out. And as always, you can be more precise than me. Get your rulers out, take your time with it, but I'm just doing this by eye. Tabs all drawn in, and this little area and this little area is what I'm going to cut away. So I need to drill a hole in those two bits, or I'm going to use my hole punch pliers as always. So pop a hole. Same on the other side. There we go. And now I'm going to undo the bottom of my saw blade and thread the blade through that hole. Same as in Make It Month 2 when we were looking at saw piercing. So I've undone this, putting it on my bench peg, threading it through the hole, and then I need to get this nice and tight again, get my blade tight. So now I just need to cut away those little triangles in the middle where I popped the hole, and then cut down the lines of my tabs. So very similar to the last pair, it's just the fact that the shape I'm cutting is inside my metal rather than cutting away from the metal. I'm going to cut these little diamond shapes out first where I pop the hole. Like so, and now I'm going to cut down the lengths of each of these tabs. That's those lines all pierced out, so I'm going to take the plastic off now. Easier said than done. Ooh. There we go. And I'm going to get my snipe nose pliers again, or any pliers with a flat jaw, and I'm going to bend these, I was just deciding what side to go for, bend these little tabs up. Like so. Like so. That's where the stone's going to sit. What I can do now is just make these tabs a bit of a nicer shape, so I'm going to round off the corners on them, and I'm also going to do a little bit of filing with the needle file on these chevron designs on the inside. So just a little needle file, just taking the corners off, smoothing them off a little bit, as well as doing the inside. Get supported so you can see inside of the chevron. Now these are little diamond coated needle files, so these ones you can use back and forwards, unlike regular files where, like I keep saying, it's only the forward motion that does the cutting. But these ones are fine to scrub back and forth. I'm going to neaten that shape up a little bit. Tabs are cut, rounded off a little bit, and now the stone should fit in between those, as well as having the little chevron design on the back. Now I could leave this completely plain, but I think I might do a little bit of stamped texture just around there. So I've grabbed a few metal stamps, and I'm just going to do a random pattern all over. As always for me, not really thinking about it much, just whacking it. And it's just on the areas that are going to be poking out from the edges of the stone, because the stone's going to cover most of this surface. Added a little bit of stamped detailing in there. I'm going to pop my stone in, and same as before, I'm just going to use something to push those tabs nice and tight over the curve of my stone. So I'm using a burnish for this. This time you could use a teaspoon if you haven't got any stone setting tools. Just anything that isn't going to scratch your work, where you can get a bit of leverage on there and really push those tabs down onto the curve of the stone until it is in there and it's not wiggling around, moving around the place. Get it nice and tight. There you go, looking good, not jiggling, not moving around, nice and tight. To turn this into a pendant, instead of popping a hole in it this time, I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm just going to roll the top of the shape forwards. And then, because these pliers are conical, I'm going to start it one way and then flip and go the other way to try and keep it as uniform as possible. This is just creating a little hook that a chain can go through. Just want to keep going until it's nice and tight and touching so that the chain can go through easily enough but not fall out. And then the last thing to do is just, I'm going to use a bit of liver of sulphur to put a little bit of colour onto this, and then it'll be done. I've mixed up a little bit of liver of sulphur. I'm just doing it in cold water this time, and I'm going to dab it onto my piece. Now if you want to do this with a stone in situ, you just need to check that the stone isn't going to be porous or damaged by the liver of sulphur. This is just a little bit of green agate, so it will be fine. Otherwise you would just do this stage before popping the stone into it. So I'm just painting it on. You can see it's starting to tarnish, and then I managed to put the glove on the hand that I'm holding the camera with rather than the one that I'm painting with. So instead I'm going to take my tweezers and flip it over and paint the back. It's darkened down, so I'm just going to take some really fine wire wool and give it a little buff just to shine up some of the high areas and leaving the textured area a bit darker. And then, as always, I'll do a little close-up in a minute so you can see the detailing. But again, this was super quick, super easy, nice and effective. Perfect for you to have a little go at home. There we go, one little tab set copper pendant. And like I say, as always, you could spend some proper time doing this and make a neater job than I did, but I was just doing it super quick so you can see how easy it can be. Instead of cutting a chevron, you could cut a fancier design. Some of these could be little leaves or little squiggly shapes, whatever you want really. And here are the little tab set earrings from the previous video. So again, super quick, super easy. These were done just by cutting little straight lines into the shape that the stone's been mounted on. But again, you could cut fancy shapes if you wanted to, rather than little straight lines. So have a go, have a play at home, see how you get on, and let me know. Hope you enjoyed it.